Many Tesla investors don't yet realize just how big of a deal it was that Elon Musk's XAI just launched Grok 3, the smartest AI in the world. Our guest today will show you his forecast for how and why Tesla's stock will 10x by 2027. He believes that XAI's current and future widening lead in scaling compute will become AI multipliers that accelerate exponentially. The faster you can create the smartest AI, the faster you can improve the supercomputer chips like Tesla's DOJO. Networking, memory, and algorithms all get improved exponentially. And the faster you can build AI data centers and robot factories. These will create the smartest robotaxis and humanoid bots. And it's a cycle. All of this, in turn, helps you create even smarter AI. Brian Wang is a futurist thought leader and a popular science blogger with 1 million readers per month. His blog, nextbigfuture.com, is ranked #1 science news blog. Welcome, Brian. Thank you for joining me again.
Glad to be here.
Thank you, Brian. I mean, the last two shows you and I have done have been fantastic. They've both have shown just, opened up the eyes of Tesla retail investors. They were both very, very popular. So you're coming out now with another pretty strong opinion, but you're backing up with information data like you normally do. So I'm very excited to review this. But in general, you think that Tesla's XAI's lead in compute is a much bigger deal than we're all explaining.
That's right.
Explain to us what you mean by AI multipliers.
So for AI multipliers, there's a chain of development for AI. So you get the best AI with the best AI data center. So they built the data center faster. So there's testing involved in setting up the racks and doing stuff. So there's a lot of technology and processes behind building something in 102 days, in 90 days versus 360 days. There's a lot of magic stuff that goes into that. So this was the data center in Memphis that they showed, and it's at 200,000 chips, and those are all integrated. So that means they have a shared memory so that all the AI training on the pre-training side and then for later are all synchronized coherent, is what they call it. And that coherent memory means that you get the full benefit of the scaling law. So the scaling law is all these formulas which are worked out in practice. That means I have my 200,000 GPUs, which are like 80 exaflops, 800 exaflops of compute that would then, actually I say 8 zettaflops of compute. So it's like 8,000 exaflops of compute. So you would then be able to apply that fully to get your AI to be, less errors, faster, better, improved. Okay. And so then there's things like they improve the Ethernet network protocol, so the third and fourth layers became hardware instead of software. So instead of milliseconds of delay, you have microseconds. So and there are things where you can apply artificial intelligence to that data center. For people who don't know, it's not just a chip. It's the software that goes on top of it. You have an operating system, you have firmware, you have other software going on top of it. There are companies like Etched and Thales, and I think Broadcom is also, Broadcom, the big company, the $1 trillion company, that is using ASICs or FPGAs, which means you can make hardware programmable, right? So that gives you 100x speed up. So if you use AI to disintermediate the layers, you can then do a kind of software update across your entire data center to get a speed up. So I wouldn't have to install new chips. I could just do a kind of firmware upgrade, operating system upgrade that would then enable me to go direct to hardware and get a speed up. So you can speed up the software with a powerful enough AI to make that kind of improvement.
Okay, so I think you're going to show us a table later how you're saying that because they did Grok 3, the smartest AI in the world, that means if you use Grok 3 itself, you can get Grok 4, Grok 5 faster. That I think we can get. And then you're saying it can actually be improved the data center. That we can get. But even bigger than that, you're going to show us how this actually improves DOJO or Tesla's factories and robots. So Even Elon himself said that this was important, right? So this was a post by Robert Scoble that Elon replied to. Robert was looking at the Grok 3 benchmarks, and he
Right.
said the thing to really pay attention to in AI is learning speed, and XAI is learning way faster than anyone else. Who said that? Apple Siri co-founder Tom Gruber. He told me at dinner a decade ago that that's the most important thing. It's funny that he points out Apple Siri. Apple Siri
Yeah.
did not improve at all, but
Yeah.
but the point is that the case? And then Elon said this: all you need to know to understand which company will win a technology competition is look at the first and second derivatives of the rate of innovation. He said this just a few days ago. Can you explain what he meant by first and second derivatives?
So the first and second, the first derivative is the how fast is the thing you're measuring, in this case, rate of innovation improving, right? And then how fast, second derivative is how fast is that improvement getting even faster. So it's this how fast am I going exponential? How much is that exponential going to the moon? And that's what it's referring to.
I love it. Yeah, thanks for explaining that. So this is very interesting because Elon himself obviously gets it, and this is what he's optimizing for. So
Right.
so tell me a little bit about the future of Grok, and then we'll move on to the other topics. Yeah.
So just in terms of like this year and into next year, is that there's going to be a Grok video coming out, which is applying version 3 or version 3.x or whatever to video. So that is something that is known to be coming out. I'm ballparking, 3 to 6 months that you'd have a Grok video coming out,
Yep.
maybe earlier, 2 months. And then there's gonna be a Grok 4, and that goes to my table about using 6 to 8 times compute. I would expect a Grok 4, because if you were to swap out H100s for B200s. So you're buying B200s, but then building the new power to get 5 times more power will take longer. And I have an estimate of how long that will take. But if I have B200s now from Nvidia, which they are getting in January, and already start applying it, you start saying, okay, I'll swap them out. I have so much power. I don't want an H100. I want 4 times as much power from the B200. So then I would get a Grok 4. So then I ballpark that would be released June, July, maybe August, June, July, August. They would have a major Grok 4 coming out. And then after that, you'd have a Grok 5, which, again, this is a numbering thing about when they actually do it. Like, do they build 500,000 chips and then they shove out a model, or they go to the full 1 million? If they go to the full 1 million, then it could take,
Wow. Yeah.
second quarter of 2026 to get it. But that would be 40 times the compute of the current model. So
By
it's going
next
to
year.
be by next year. It'd be a major, major step up.
Yeah.
And they're doing this way faster than anyone else.
Gotcha.
So this was something they showed in the demo day, which is only showing up to Grok 2. I'm not sure if I didn't think I caught a picture of when they showed a Grok 3, but basically Grok 3 has 15 times the compute. So the axis to the left is showing that total training flops.
Mhm.
And they said they had 15 times the training flops for Grok 3 over Grok 2. So you'd have a line or dot that'd be 15 times higher than this for Grok 3.
Mhm.
And then if we extend it out to Grok 4 and 5, based on my projections, then it would be like 600 times higher than Grok 2 for
Right
Grok
here. Yeah.
5.
Once you
Right.
get to that. Okay. So it's not only 15 times, but then 600 times. So you're
Right.
saying that, yeah, they're going to get there because of their ability to create compute as fast as possible. Grok
Right.
3 apparently is already the number one across all categories. That's what
Right.
they're saying. And we're going to wait to see. But yeah, tell us what we're seeing here.
Yeah, so this is the large language model leaderboard. There's several large language model leaderboards, and they go across categories of math, coding, hard prompts and stuff like that. So based on that scoreboard, with whatever methodology they use, they're showing the early version of Grok 3 to be number one across all of those. It's called early version because the Grok 3 training models are still improving right now. They're doing reinforcement learning. So you do your pre-training, your post-training, and then you do reinforcement learning. And since DeepSeek, the reinforcement learning is mostly automated, not with humans in the loop. So they're still improving. It's still, as Elon says, getting more intelligent every day.
Mm-hmm.
By next week, they should have Super Grok released.
Mm.
Super Grok will be a better reasoning model, more like an O3 versus to O1 for OpenAI type model. So they're not only leading now, but their scores will keep going up, say 10% more, up from 1400 to 1500 or something like that.
Okay.
So still getting better.
Well, I love this table that you did. You shared this because a lot of people don't
Yeah.
realize this, right? You're comparing down below is Grok 2, Grok 3. That's where we are right now.
Yeah.
And you got Gemini, you got Llama. This is Facebook, and you got GPT, right? OpenAI.
Right.
And what's critical here, right? Is like here we are in Grok 3 in January 2025. They have 100,000 H100s.
Yeah.
And if you look over here, 100,000 H100s, you know, how long it takes them before they get there, right?
Yeah, there's like a year behind, right?
Yeah.
Because it's not only that you have to install them, and NVIDIA's Jensen Huang says XAI installed them way faster than anyone else, like at least a year for everyone else. So they had to catch up because OpenAI, Microsoft, and Meta got their H100s before XAI and Tesla got theirs. But then because they were so fast in installing them, they got their Grok 3 fully installed to 100,000. And it was not just that they got them installed faster, they got them all in one building. Because before, OpenAI, Microsoft, and Meta, and Google would have their GPUs in multiple buildings. Okay, we're going to do a fast connection. There was power issues, there were networking issues. They couldn't make 100,000 work together. And currently, they do not have 100,000 working together, right? Because, as I said, XAI and Tesla had to come up with a patent around how do we chain the third and fourth layer of the Ethernet protocol in order to go to hardware and go to microseconds instead of milliseconds, right? So they did serious R&D technical lift to achieve what they did with 100,000 synchronized. So even if the other guys get the chips to make them all work together, they have a problem. Google Gemini can have 100,000 TPUs, their own chips working together, right? So they're not NVIDIA chips, so their networking and other things are different than the NVIDIA chips. But the TPUs are, not one for one as good as the NVIDIA chips. They're, chips against the B200, it's more like, 5 to 1 or something like that. If you have a drop off in there. And Google does have many buildings with many of these things, which are used for like running all of their search. They have a lot of their search is integrated with AI. But bottom line is if XAI gets to 1 million B200 chips, each B200 is 4 times better than an H100 that and uses the same energy, roughly the same energy as one, then they will have a model that's like 80 times more compute by my prediction about August, middle of 2026.
Yeah, that's very incredible. Yeah. So by August of 2026, it's expected that Grok will be able to get to 1 million B200s by August 2026. Now, if you look over here, by August 2026, let's say January 2026, GPT is only, OpenAI is only at 150,000 H100s. They won't get to 100,000 B200 till February 2027. And then you got Llama, it's like they only have 300,000 B200s at that point. And then same thing with Gemini. So the point being that these guys XAI is going to be so much farther ahead.
Right. And the scaling laws means you have better AI with that. Your AI is just better.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the part that Elon's talking about, you're talking about. So tell me so this is part of the reason why they can get faster, right? Is how it's not just the AI, right? It's the power.
Power. Yeah. I can have a stack at 1 million chips, but if I don't have the power to run them, then they're not doing anything, right? Because they use a lot of power. Each one can use like a kilowatt of power, right? Thus, I need to have a gigawatt, 1.2 gigawatts to run 1 million chips, right? I need a gigawatt, which is like a nuclear reactor, But nuclear reactors take 10, 20 years to build or something like that.
Wow.
In the US, it takes 5 years to build in China and South Korea.
Oh my
So
gosh.
these
Yeah.
are like megapacks, but for natural gas. So they got a
Mhm.
natural gas turbine inside that's roughly the size of a shipping container. VoltaGrid makes them. This one is about 2.8 megawatts. And so they have a bunch of these at the Memphis location
Mhm.
because they bought a factory that was shut down by Electrolux, and then there was a natural gas line running beside it. So they didn't want to make the building again, and they wanted the natural gas power. So then you take the natural gas power from 100 meters away, and then you run it to these, but with pipes to these turbines, right? And they have about 18 or something of that
Mm.
of these. So you get an extra, getting close to 100 megawatts of power from that. So 150 from the grid, and you got 100 megawatts from this. In order to get to 250, so you can run 200,000 chips right now. And the next slide, there's other, I think a dual truck version made by another manufacturer, a subsidiary of Caterpillar, that can generate 16 megawatts of power. Because in order for me to get up to 1.2 gigawatts, I may need 300 of that previous VoltaGrid one, or I need 60 of these, right?
Mhm.
And so in order to go fastest, you could, try and get, you know, power from the grid. You talk to the utility and say, hey, you have all these power plants, send us a bit more power. You maybe have to run another power line over, right? A really major, not like a normal one wire thing, like a big fat, power line to run 100 megawatts over to me. But making new grid takes a lot of time, right? You have to make new transformer stations, a bunch of other stuff, right? So the fastest, which is why they went to natural gas and these kind of mobile turbines, is what it is. So I believe that that is the only way they can get that done for the full gigawatt by the end of this year, 9 months-ish, that they would
Yeah.
get that
And
power.
they're using the megapacks too, right? So that's
And they're
the
using megapacks, right?
so the point being that Tesla found a way to get things done faster than everyone else does, and
Right.
that's why they're ahead now.
Right.
Yeah.
And we'll
Okay.
be ahead again
Yeah.
with the gigawatt. So I'm saying about 9 to 12 months. They already started in January
Hmm.
and could see completion by about October. Um, there may be certain testing and other things and then, some other approvals. But, I'm thinking they get it done by December. And
What's this? What is this? What are you talking about? The
this is
not
a
the
power.
million. That's
This
the
is the
power.
turbines, the
Okay.
power turbines, right?
Hmm.
This is make the power. And then in parallel, I can be installing chips, right? I
Yeah.
can keep expanding, installing chips in parallel while I get the power. Because the fact that I can't turn on all the chips is irrelevant to the fact I need to take the time, the logistics to lay down all the wiring,
Yeah. Okay.
test
Gotcha.
everything.
All right.
Yeah,
So you're thinking that, yeah, okay. So you have to obviously consider the infrastructure. Okay, good. So let's get started to they build the compute faster than everyone else. They got the
right.
power, they got the data data center. What does that do?
So people who think about, well, how can I make money from AI? That they think, oh, I'm replacing Google search. I'm having a product directly for people, right? And so as we said, innovation speed is the key,
Mhm.
right? So, and build speed is the key or improvement. So where can I have a complete AI multiplier? So we've always, everyone here who's listening knows, okay, we talk Tesla bots, labor multiplier, where we replace labor, make factory labor and warehouse labor faster because we've used the Tesla bot. Transportation multiplier. We have robotaxi, robotrucks. That is a massive multiplier on a basic fundamental aspect of the economy, right? So thus the TAM is huge. But if I multiplied my speed of innovation by making my data centers faster or upgrading the software, upgrading the research so that I can get, figure out an algorithm so that my chips that are already sitting there go 10 times faster. Or I can coordinate the operations faster, right? Or I can design new chips faster. And I'll have a later slide about the designing new chips faster. Or if I can fully automate the research. So if I do some aspect of testing, right now I need a bunch of my smart teams at XAI and OpenAI and whatever, they're working, okay, how do I make this better? There are ways to automate that. Like right now, we can use Cursor and some of the other LLMs to make your programming more productive, right? So, but what is in my critical path to making my 200,000 GPUs that are there 10 times, 100 times more productive, which goes to things like, changing that software stack, because there's things in that software, how it runs may be different, like, so doing kind of like section by section upgrades or doing experimentation. I need my AI researcher, I need to run an experiment. Does this actually work? And can I test it to see, did I make it smarter, right? So if I automate that, where I can test 10, 20 different ideas and have the AI give me another 50 ideas, and then we can run the experiments faster and then test and confirm which one actually did give me a double, a triple, a quadruple, I can then apply that and then speed up the development of AI. So then not only do I have a million chips, but they can run 10 times, 100 times better, right?
I love it. Okay, so that's a big point, I think. So you're saying, right? And it makes sense at this point, but actually you're the first one to articulate it. If you're able to create...
Yeah. I'll just pop back to that previous slide. Just one last thing about that was that synthetic data and self-learning. So that is, besides all the compute, you need to have good data and good simulations and that kind of thing. So Elon mentioned that one of the advances for Grok 3 was to get more data, because previously they're saying we run out of data. So, getting more video, getting more synthetic, which is like statistically extending your data set. So I have the entire internet, but I need to expand that to 100 times the internet.
Yeah.
What does that mean? I need to generate data that is actually helping me to learn.
Yeah.
So you need an AI to do that.
Gotcha.
So
Gotcha. Okay. This is the weirdest thing, isn't it? The thing that you're building, and if you can build AI to be faster AI, smartest AI, that itself can make you create smarter AI, can use synthetic data, can use better research, can build better data centers. Everything's being impacted. And so you're saying by 2027, you see a 10x in the stock, Tesla stock, because you got these mega data centers. By 2026, you've got that will help build Tesla's DOJO, their own supercomputer chips. 3 and 4 will come out sooner. Better AI 6 chips. Nvidia uses AI for chip design now. Better robotaxi, robotrucks, and bots. And then, of course, better factories. So even the factories will be faster if you've got,
Right. So for people who didn't hear, there was a talk that Elon gave at the All In Summit. So the All In podcast guys had him at a summit, like at some event, where he talked to them about it. And he talked about DOJO 2 and DOJO 3. So DOJO 2 is their AI training chip. And DOJO 2, coming out this year, is supposed to be competitive, what that means, with an Nvidia B200, right? So, if I'm only as good as the B200, I can get B200s. What is the difference that make? Nvidia has 70 to 75% profit margin. So that means it costs them $10,000, but they sell it for $40,000.
That's right.
So then if I have a DOJO 3 chip and I make it myself, it's only as good, it only cost me $10,000. So now I can afford 4 times more DOJO 3s that are equivalent to a B200, right? DOJO 2. So then next year, it's supposed to be DOJO 3 chips, which would again be 4 times better, 5 times better. That may be possible that they could then beat Nvidia at their game, right? So if I catch up, DOJO 2 equal to B200, then if I have better AI, and Nvidia is using their AI for chip design, but I have the better AI. Gotcha. My AI is even better than their AI. But I have to do a ton of work in order to not just replace one chip designer. I have to replace the team of chip designers
Mm.
and then doing all their work. So it's not, again, not replacing one programmer, not replacing one scientist, but the whole process steps in order to do this thing. So it's a massive lift, and Nvidia did that massive lift, and maybe it does take Tesla and XAI, another generation, to get to Grok 7. But at Grok 7 applied, and that's the key is applying it. Just having the compute is not enough. I have to figure out everything
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
chip design for my AI to improve it. Right? But once
Yeah.
I'm on that step, once I'm on the cycle, it's like, okay, turn the crank, turn the crank, turn the crank. It's like better chip, apply, better chip, apply.
Smarter AI, better chip, smarter AI, smarter AI, better chip.
Right, right. So that's the huge lift. Just like robotaxi was a huge lift, it takes years to do it. Just like Tesla Bot is a huge lift, takes multiple years to do it. Better chip design AI is a huge lift. It takes multiple years to get there. But once you have that prize so that's why it's not like, yeah, I can answer a trillion questions for Google for regular folks, but the questions, other than the value they have in themselves, is not something that feeds into a cycle.
Yeah.
Feeding into a cycle is the key.
Is the key.
That,
yeah.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that all of this was going to prove better factories too? Can you explain how you think that will make better robot factories and better car factories?
So again, it's not just one Tesla bot. It's 10,000, 20,000 Tesla bots in the factory, working in harmony, thinking like it's a massive dance, or it's you see those marching band things or whatever
Orchestra.
at halftime, an orchestra of musical performers, right? Where you have a conductor coordinating it. So by coordinating everything, then I want to have a team of bots at this module, 4 of them, 5 of them surrounding it, making it faster and faster, and then feeding it into a parallelized process where instead of start with one car, it passes all the way through, and then it takes 10 hours, which is already 3 times faster than Volkswagen, 10 hours to get all the way through. Then if I have parallel that to 10 things, then it takes me 1 hour to complete, and I'm shoving out one car every, 10 seconds instead of one car every 40 seconds, right?
Yeah.
Right. And then if I can speed that even more, like, 100 parallelized steps, right? Then it's like all these pieces like pop, and then the Legos form together. Yeah. It's like, the Borg or replicators or something like that in Star Trek. It's like pieces come together, slam, and then it's like, so the speed of production can go up 100 times. It's just, the
reduction in cost, increase in quality, speed.
Right.
It's just AI can improve every single step, and they'll discover how to do it faster than any human possibly could, figure out.
Right.
So, okay. So how did you get to 10x in Tesla stock? Explain
well, the 10x in Tesla stock is basically maybe have 4 million robotaxis instead of 2 million in your fleet, because basically you go from, the first few thousand, second half of this year, starting in June. And then, they said they would go to the entire US market, right, in 2026. But it's a question of like, how many of those cars become robotaxi? And that depends upon the quality of that robotaxi software, right? Is it really, if it makes 100 times fewer errors than a human versus whatever, then you get to the full unlimited potential of it. And then you can, if I just go from 2 million people participating in the fleet, 2 million cars to 4 million, then I double the profits, right? And then my production processes could be speeding up by 10, 20, 30, 50%, right? So, it'd be in the process of, in the exponential curve, we're hitting the knee, and it's like, if everything's speeding up, then how does that kind of play together? It's tough to predict because as Elon says, exponentials are tough to predict, right? But if things come together, then it's actually could be conservative. That'd be 10x because 4 million robotaxis, you're not only your profits higher, but your growth rate's higher. the margins are higher, right? So it's not just doubling the stock because of profits, but growth rate would be, I don't know, 70% or something like that. It starts as, instead of start getting nutty. And then the Tesla bots is also highly dependent upon the quality of the AI, right? So if they're having a factory that they say, okay, in 2026, we start off making 10,000 per month, then, if they just work because the AI is better, right? And they're talking, the cars and the bots will be talking this year. They'll have a Grok 3 voice, probably Q2 or earlier. They even said like in a few weeks, they demoed it at the end of the demo, right? So if your AI is better, you will use and sell more bots and cars and trucks. So that will translate into financial performance, faster growth rates, and a better stock price.
Yeah. So let's go back to the beginning, because I'm following you now. You're basically saying, look, if Tesla can get, what was your estimate again when they'll get to the 1 million? Right now they're 200,000 H100 equivalents.
Around the end of this year, they should have their 1 million chips. Energy and
but
energy
how much more compute is that? Because it's going to be B200s. It might be even the next
about
version.
40x.
So by end of what?
End of this year.
End of this year, Tesla, you're expecting that XAI, and then, by the way, it's XAI plus Tesla, right? Because Tesla has their own initiatives.
Right.
That you will get to 1 million. So if you get to 40x of compute, so 40 times better, number one, robotaxi is going to be solved. Version 13 is already so good right now. But if you have 40 times more compute by the end of this year, by next year, it is going to be superhuman.
Right.
Then you're going to apply that 40x AI to Cybercab production. By the way, Elon today posted saying how the Cybercab production line, it is going to blow everyone away because it is just so advanced. It's like from the future, and it sounds like it's all 100% automated. So if you apply that 40 times AI to the Cybercab production line, there's potential for it to be increasing speed, quality, all that could even be better and better and better and better, right? Is that what you're saying?
Right. That's what I'm saying. And then also, then you have to apply it to actually train, my million GPUs. Just like they can use 200,000 GPUs now to train. They'll use their million GPUs to train. So, once you build it, you have to train. But if I have 40 times the compute, and you have 1 times that compute, then it takes you a year to do the training I can do in 9 days.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. That's a critical thing.
That'd be the critical thing. I can do it in 9 days. It takes you a year. Right.
And that's why A, no one else can catch up, and B, the Tesla bots and robotaxi and the factories are all going to be faster. So that's what you're saying, is that everybody's being a little conservative because they have this straight line of, next year I'm going to build 1 million, then next year I'll build 2 million, because that's the old model of manufacturing and the old model of progress.
Right. Right. And then that didn't go to, that's just raw chips and compute. If my AI made my software more efficient, my algorithm designs more efficient, I could get a 10x out of nowhere. It'd be like a software update, like an over-the-air update to my entire factory, my fleet of robots, my fleet of AI data center stuff. It's like I'm doing software updates to that over the air. And so that goes to the second derivative thing. I'm getting faster and faster, right? I improve faster, and now my speed of improvement is faster.
That's what Elon said about the second derivative, is the speed of improvement is going to exponentially increase as well.
Right.
Oh my gosh. So that's why Elon and Tesla is so critically important, that they go this as fast as possible.
Mm-hmm. Right.
The first, so I'm going to play a little clip, because even Satya Nadella, the CEO of Microsoft, basically said the same thing, which is the winner is going to be the one with the most compute. Let's listen to this at this point.
Where is the value going to be created in AI?
That's a great one. So I think the at least in my current thing is, there are 2 places where I can say with some confidence. One is the hyperscalers do well, right? Because the fundamental thing is, if you sort of go back to even how Sam and others describe it, I mean, like if intelligence is log of compute. Whoever can do lots of compute is a big winner.
Right.
And the other interesting thing is, if you look at underneath even any AI workload, like take ChatGPT, it's not like everybody's excited about what's happening on the GPU side. It's great, but it's like the ratio, like in fact, I think of my fleet even as a ratio of the AI accelerated storage to compute. And at scale, you got to grow it.
Yeah.
And so that infrastructure need for the world is just going to be exponentially growing, right? So in fact, it's manna from heaven to have these AI workloads, because guess what? They're more hungry for more compute, right? Not just for training, but we now know for test time. And as I said, test time. Like, here's an interesting thing. When you think of an AI agent, it turns out the AI agents is going to exponentially increase compute usage, because you now are not even bound by just one human invoking a program. It's one human invoking programs that invoke lots more programs. And so that's going to create massive, massive demand and scale for compute infrastructure. So our hyperscale business, Azure business, I think that's like, and other hyperscalers, I think that's a big thing.
Yeah.
Then after that, it becomes a little fuzzy. Because you could sort of say, hey, there is a winner-take-all model. I just don't see it, because this, by the way, is the other thing I've learned, is being very good at understanding what are winner-take-all markets and what are not winner-take-all markets is, in some sense, everything. Like I remember even in the early days when I was getting into Azure, I mean, Amazon had a very significant lead, and people would come to me and investors would come to me and say, oh, it's game over. You'll never make it. It's winner take all. And having competed against Oracle and IBM in client server, I knew that, look, the buyers will not tolerate winner take all, right? Structurally, hyperscale will never be a winner take all because buyers are smart. Consumer market sometimes can be winner take all, but anything there, the buyer is a corporation, an enterprise, an IT department, they will want multiple suppliers.
All right. So he's obviously going off a little bit more on the hyperscalers and data centers and his business. But yeah, so more compute is the winner, and some markets will be winner take all. It sounds like you're basically saying that the speed of innovation, if it keeps improving because you're the smartest AI, that can create the smartest bots, the smartest robotaxis, and then it could be, are you saying winner take all?
Yes, I am saying winner take all. Well, you have to work most with the winner. You take most, so you have to work with the winner. But if your AI data center is 40 times worse, it's like, a Boeing 747, in the 1970s could move 400 people. The next largest plane could move, like 100 or something like that. Or, it's just, if you have that much of an advantage, then you are not in the game, right? So, no one bought, the third best rocket engine or airplane engine from the Soviets, right? They made one, but no one bought it because it was vastly more inefficient. And so for humanoid bots and for the fact that you have a very nice business and you have 1% of the market, just like internet where Google search or whatever, you can get to that 98, 99% level. Like right now for SpaceX, they have like over 90% of satellite launch, and then once they get the reusable Starship, they can go to 99.9%, right? So he may not see it, but I do. They can have a business, for certain office things, again, using it. So it's not like I don't want to necessarily short them per se, right? But I'm going to say that, not having the AI data center game means you will lose large language model. So what does that mean? So I think it's very important.
All right. So Tesla is going to 10x in 2027, the stock.
Yeah.
And you believe that because, again, just I've been repeating, the smartest AI is going to be, and the speed by which they grew is just unstoppable at this point in every part of Tesla's business.
Right. And the thing is, for people who model out, okay, robotaxi, robotruck, and then Tesla bot, right? They say, okay, yeah, replace all labor. The fact that your intelligence and your process improvement keeps getting better and better, that means there are 10x's beyond that.
Yeah.
10x's every 3 years. You know,
Yes.
it keeps going and going, right?
Yeah.
So that's the main point, is that people think, oh, well, we'll have 100x, you know, with Tesla bots, and then that's it. You know, it's so wonderful. Like, it gets even better. It keeps going.
Yeah, I think you said at one point, you threw out that at some point the Tesla stock could actually double every single year, because
Right.
the exponential is just so big, right? It's like mind blowing.
Right.
And I think the part that I learned today, or I obviously that few people are thinking about, is that it's not just you have the smartest AI, and not just
Yeah.
that you have the best robotaxi or the best bots. It's that all of that actually makes you able to build factories that can then build more, and then all of that allows you to build more data centers. It's like a flywheel where
Right.
you can't be
Yeah.
stopped.
It's a real world exponential flywheel. You know,
Exponential.
you have right. Because you have flywheels. People who don't know, like the Silicon Valley internet, always is a financial flywheel, where it keeps getting better and better, and exploding, which is what, you know, give us, you know, the largest company in the world, you know, Apple.
Yeah.
But this is not just a software flywheel;
Yeah.
it's a physical world.
Physical
Flywheel.
flywheel, hardware, factories. You can build factories faster. You can build it cheaper. You can make them more effective, so you can use less square footage. You can use Tesla bots. You can use video cameras everywhere, and like your factory is going to be like 10 times, maybe even 100 times more efficient than any factory who doesn't have that next year's level, because that next year's level is going to be 10 times smarter than yours. You just can't catch up.
For people who've been around a while, remember when Elon was talking a few years ago and talked about the AI, the factory dreadnought, the alien dreadnought of technology.
Yes.
That the factories would become alien dreadnoughts.
Yes.
That's what he's talking about. That the science and technology and everything in the factories, in the AI data centers, will look like magic alien technology.
Yeah, just today, Elon said, right, that Tesla's product is the factory.
Right.
Tesla's product is the factory. Yeah. And it just turned out that physical AI is actually the holy grail, which is robots and robotaxi cars and physical robots. That's where embodied
bots,
AI. Yeah.
Factories that make bots that make factories.
And factories that make products, any product you can think of, all product you can think of. Because now, that's the part that I think could be interesting, right? Because now all of a sudden Tesla is a guitar maker. They can make guitars. They can make anything.
Right.
Any product you want.
Right. And I think it's you know, they will, at that point, the dominance will be so insane that they will be letting other people do stuff, you know, just like, you know, let people, you know, use their bots to do stuff, so that, you know, spread the wealth. Like, we want humanity to be better. So then we will, you know, make it that everyone be productive and do things. Yeah. But yeah, the company competition, you know, are not playing the same game. It's completely different.
Okay, well, lots to take into it. You always come out with some thought-provoking, innovative idea. This is one that you've articulated well, I think. You basically showed that if the AI is smartest now, and then they get to the million, for example, faster than anyone else does, that alone gets them to the next leap faster than anyone else does. And then all of that gets everything that they're working on bigger, faster. And so this whole, people are estimating 2 million robotaxis in 2027. You're going, with 100 million chips equivalent compute, you can get to 4 million. That's the leap, I think, but that's interesting.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Glad people like it. You know,
I do think
love
so.
to discuss it more.
Yeah. Write in the comments what you're thinking. You know, challenge the idea and see what what we're missing. Thank you, Brian. Appreciate your thoughts here. Follow him on his website, nextbigfuture.com, #1 science news blog. Follow him on his X account as well. Thanks.
Yep.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
I've created a website that is the most comprehensive resource for the Tesla investor. Please check it out. Simply go to my website at herbertong.com.